Hey there, First Readers. Welcome to First Reading, the Old Testament Lectionary podcast. I'm Tim McNinch, and Rachel Wren has the week off. We've got something a bit different for you this week. The lectionary text is 2 Kings 2, 1-12, the story about Elijah's flamboyant departure. That's a pun for those of you paying attention. We had a short little episode on this passage way back almost 2 years ago. And rather than redoing that, there's a link to that episode in this week's slot on our website, firstreadingpodcast.com. So if you're looking for a little help with Hebrew and the cultural context of this passing of the baton from Elijah to Elisha, check that out there. The other resource I want to share with you today moves from exegesis into homiletics. Many of us are experimenting with ways of preaching and teaching biblical content alongside the ongoing challenges of the COVID era. Well, it so happens that on January 31st, I helped lead a worship service at my own church that featured the youth of the congregation. We do that every so often. And as I planned the service, I ended up organizing it around the lectionary psalm for the week, Psalm 111. Some of you might have used that or read it as part of your worship. Well, after it was all said and done, it occurred to me that you all might enjoy seeing how I use that text in a creative way and incorporated Hebrew stuff and cultural context, all the goodies we normally provide here on the podcast. I also tied the sermonish part of the service to a spiritual practice of prayer and invited the youth of the church to share through little videos how they were putting this biblical text into practice. Anyway, even though the lectionary date is past now, if you think you might gain something by seeing me work with an Old Testament passage in a way that worked well in the COVID era where it all had to be online, then head over to the website and I've uploaded the video of my sermonish presentation. I didn't include the stuff with the youth of the church because I didn't ask permission to use that material outside of our church's own web presence. But if you want to see all this in context with the youth doing their thing too, I'll also give a link to the whole service, which is only about 30 minutes long, on our website. Well, we'll be back next week with a fresh episode of First Reading. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.